Right, good evening everyone. I hope you can see me, I hope you can hear me. Right, so a Sunday evening, but we've got a little bit of an interesting kind of twist on things. So I've been playing around with a lot of 37s fairly recently. We're going to have a little chat about 37s as well. Hot Dog Handy got a crab today. Excellent. Cool. I like a crab. Hot Dog Pilot Andy, excuse me. First in this evening, so well done. Clyde Bridge, closely second. There we go. Any more people in the chat there? We'll let the chat get a bit. 25 47s, blooming heck. That's madness. Mind you, saying that, I've got quite a few 37s at the moment. So yeah, what's really annoying me is I can see a Peckett sat in a station. So what actually happened earlier? I had some good friends come over, and what I've ended up doing was I had a huge play with the layout. And for me, it was really quite interesting. I sat here and I basically manned the signals and did all the points and all this sort of stuff. But at the same token, it was really, really interesting to watch the guys play. So Johnny Ward, Oliver, Darren, I hope you enjoyed your time, and I hope you had good fun with the layout. I know I certainly did, and it was brilliant just watching the layout work and be used the way it was intended. Whilst one person was doing one thing, another person was doing another thing, and there was just trains constantly moving and active, and ABC sections were doing their job by protecting things, and I can't stress just how nice it was to watch the layout get used and abused, and just everything that I've put into it come together. It was great to watch. I've obviously got a few little tips because Johnny is a signalling engineer. So yeah, I've had a few little talks of different signalling and all this sort of stuff. There's a couple of things that need changing and all this sort of stuff. So between Johnny and Eric, because Eric's given me some pointers as well, Underground Eric, I really do appreciate it. So yes, you've had a gala. Yes, I definitely had a gala, and for that sake, good evening, Richard. I hope you're well. Phil Morton, good evening, mate. Can't stay long, the F1 is on. I didn't know. I plan these things. I can't keep up with the F1 or anything like that. So I do have a fan just sat down behind me there. So if it does get a bit noisy or anything like that, or it's creating a bit of wind noise or anything like that, do let me know in the comments, and I will try and address that. It's very wet here today. It's very hot though, but it's also very wet. So the rain has come finally after all that time. We did get woken up in the middle of the night by a thunderstorm, but it's been a lovely hot day today, and just to finish it all off, it decides to downpour with a bit of thunder and lightning and stuff. So I'll probably try and open that door up a little bit, see if it's... Maybe not, it's raining. So I'm definitely not going to open that door. Right, so a couple of things have moved around, a couple of things have changed. I've been working a bit on the platform, so we can see some new fencing has appeared. You can't really see some of it because I'm blocking the view, so if I just move me over ever so slightly, just to there. So yeah, we've got some new fencing just there behind where I was, and we've got some new fencing across the way there. So what I've done is this time round I've tried different versions. So on this near side, or on the left hand side as the camera view look at it, you've got the Wills Pico fencing, which is the white LMS fencing, and the biggest problem I was having with that was they don't do ramps in the LMS fencing in the Pico Wills range, and it's a bit chunky, it's a bit cumbersome and all this sort of stuff. I think I mentioned this in my last stream, to be honest, but I've managed to find some Slaters stuff, and I've decided to use that instead. Now, to me, it's a lot nicer and a lot more detailed. If I just move that out of the way a second. And what I'll do is I'll go in my drawer quickly, one of the drawers. I know it's in one of them somewhere. There it is. I'll just grab 2 bits of fencing, and then I'll grab this in front of me. So what I've done is, because I keep showing you things and keep showing you different things, what I've done is I've added a new camera. So what I've got here, you'll have to excuse me because it's not really set up correctly, but that is basically the fencing. Can't angle that down anymore, unfortunately. But that is basically the Wheels Pico fencing, and as I say, the biggest problem with it is they don't do any ramp sections or anything like this. So this is the Slater's fencing, and as we can see there, guys, much finer, much more accurate, and they include the ramps. So yeah, I've got some of the Slater's fencing, and that's what I will be changing the other fencing over to. So yeah, so do watch out. I will keep progressing with that. So the other reason I've set up this little camera this evening is because, obviously, as it says in the title, I want to talk about, oh, excuse me, sorry, that's the that's one of the drawers actually. Sorry about that. I'm sure that sounded quite entertaining from your side of things. So Dave's Swindon Junction, good evening. Hi there. I don't believe I've seen your name in the chat before, so welcome along to the stream. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll get onto the major sort of topic of conversation this evening, which is Class 37s. Now, some of you know that I've had a 37 for quite some time. You can just see another one lurking in the background there. But what I'll do is I'll basically bring this one across. Now, this is the... do we need a bit more light? Do we need a bit more light on that? Maybe? I can quickly bring... Good thing it's got a long cable on it. I can quickly bring... Or is that too much light now? I don't know. Never know how to do these things. Let's see if I can get that. No. Let's try and angle this up ever so slightly. Problem with doing things lastminute.com is you never know how far to go with things. But yeah, anyway, so what I'll do is, so this is the Bachmann Class 37. This is the earlier Bachmann Class 37. Now, some of you may have seen this from previous videos, etc. So I hope the focus doesn't do people's head-ins too much. Shall I bring that back a bit? So this one I've had for a good few years now, and as you can see, I've obviously done very interesting work to it as well. Just read some of the comments out. Iron Horse Railways, good evening. Thank you for joining us. But this is obviously the earlier Class 37. Now, it's been modified quite heavily by myself. So if I flip the tank over, you can see there's an EM2 in the tank there. You know, I did this a long time ago now. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. Putting a magnetic speaker cone in the bottom of your locomotive is not something I would suggest, because as you might be able to see there from a few little metallic shiny bits, it does pick up all little shavings and all little swarf and so on and so forth. In actual fact, the worst time we've had this going round was unfortunately Toby's layout. Not blaming him or anything like this, but all of a sudden the sound stopped on this loco, and we were like, oh, what's going on? Why is that stopped? And actually, when we picked it up, we found a coupling hook stuck to the bottom of the speaker. So that upset things a little bit. Popped it back on the track, and lo and behold, it was absolutely fine. But yeah, so it's got the EM2 in the bottom there. And then what I've done inside is you've got the speaker tray itself in there, which is usually for a 40 by 20 speaker. What I've done with this one is I've put a 2020 20 by 20 owls sound speaker in there, and then the remaining sort of 20 by 20 area I've then cut up a little box, and I've actually fitted a working fan in this model. So very simple, just basically a small little 8mm long by 4mm diameter motor that basically just drives the fan assembly directly, and that's all tied in with the sound files. When you start it up, it starts the fan up and all this kind of stuff. Being a 37.0, the 37.0s had the fan which was driven by a gearing off the engine, so basically the fan was always constantly running. However, on the refurbished ones they changed that, so basically the fan went on and off as it needed to. That is what I believe. Obviously if I've got it wrong, please someone go and correct me. But yeah, obviously it's had modifications. So it's got independent cab lights, it's got independent red lights from front and rear. So overall it's a nice model. I don't know how well that's coming through. Sorry, it looks really sort of shaded, or so let's just take that away maybe. I feel like it looks really dark on camera, so I'm really sorry. Try and think of a way of getting the light improved, but anyway. So yeah, that is the early Bachmann 37. So that's 3714, long standing in my collection, had it for quite some time now. I'm getting in the light with my hand now, start doing little bird signals and stuff with the shadow. Let's turn that light off and see if it improves any better. Hoping that might pick up a little bit, but anyway. So this is the problem with doing things 10 minutes before you start a live stream. You never get a chance to really test them out before you go live. But anyway, Clyde Bridge, at this rate, John, you'll have as many 37s as I have 47s. 37 shootout, yes, very much so. So do keep an eye out for my next video, because I will be doing a big 37 shootout. So this is the previous version of the Bachmann 37. You know, first time. It was a very good model. I've enjoyed many years with this model, and it's served its purpose really well. Obviously it's had quite a lot of modifications to it, so it does make it a very good sounding model, and it does run really well. So yeah, very pleased with that. So I'll take that away, and I'll just introduce it to the front of this train just on the layout, so do bear with me a second, because obviously, as the title suggests, we are going to have a 37 takeover, boys and girls. So that's coupled to the train. So what I'll now do is I'll now bring in this one, which we can see just off the shot on camera here. You can also see my next steam victim in the top corner there. But anyway, so this is the new Bachmann 37. I'm really concerned about the amount of light. Sorry, do bear with me. I'm just trying to look for a floodlight, which I thought I had out to hand. Obviously not. Sorry, sorry, I'm just trying to improve the light levels because I'm really concerned it just looks really dark on camera. I can't find my light. This is very peculiar. What the heck have I? Sorry, viewers. This is again. This is the problem with doing things last minute. You don't test things before you go live. Hiding under paperwork. Right, so let me just introduce that. What I'll do is I'll pop it behind the camera so it's not glaring. Oh, as you can see, the body's loose on this one. I've left it loose for a reason, but yeah. So this is the new Batman 37. As I say, I hope the focus comes through. Clybridge, you're very lucky to own such a fleet. Do we have old 37, later 37 and new Batman 37? No, what we have is we have the later 37, the new Batman 37, which is the one I'm showing off here, and the well, I'll get to the next one in a minute actually. But yeah, this is the new one, and I've got to say the detail level, you know, shows just how good it is. Sorry, let's see if we can. Yeah. So the improvements are noticeable. There's lots of nice features to it. The fan is very nicely done. This is a sound fitted deluxe model, but what I've done is I don't particularly like the sound file. So the MS decoder has come out, and I will probably either sell that or use that for something else. Being Zimo, it's quite a wide range of stuff I could probably use it for. And this one's had an ESU 21 pin put in because I wanted to have a play with sound files that kind of showed them all roughly to the same sort of level and similar sort of sound, so we could have this little shootout that I've got planned. But you know, the fan drive on this one is loads better. So the fan's actually geared, so it's a much nicer, slower fan. It looks much better. So the detail level, as I say, is really good. There you go, the sound fitted. Oops, sorry, get my thumb out of the way. The sound fitted deluxe with a working fan logo on the bottom there. Cab detail's really nice. The one thing that's really annoying is they've gone away from fitting drivers now. Not entirely sure why. I've always thought that was a nice feature that Batman had, where they used to put drivers and figures in the models, but they seem to have come away from that one. The biggest letdown, I have to say, with this model is the snowplows. Now, I've annoyingly put it back on the layout. Now, the snowplows themselves on the sort of later 21 pin model, you could take the coupling off and you could put the snowplows in, and they looked okay. They looked right round about the right place and all this sort of stuff. Now, I have to say, on this particular model, you take the coupling off, you put the snowplow in, and they stick out like a sore thumb. They stick out so far. It's quite, well, it's heavily noticeable. I just don't understand. They've gone through all this effort to redo the tooling on the model, make a really nice looking model, etc., and then they've just like fallen short at the last hurdle. It's you know, it's a really disappointing thing to see on a model of this expense as well, because obviously it is the most expensive model probably out of all three of the models. I say three, there's actually a fourth one in here as well, but anyway. Yeah, so you know, I think as a whole, if I was to give it a 10 out of 10 rating, I'd probably give it about an 8. There's lots of things I really like about it: the fan assembly, the drive, the lighting inside, it's really good. I'm still not a fan of this user function to turn something off that Batman do. So for instance, you turn a function on to turn off all the lighting at one end. And it's just like, well, surely you could just have functions to do the two lights. So for instance, if you want to turn off the reds at one end of this model, you use a function to turn off the whole end, so it turns the whites and the reds off at one end. Now surely you could just go and say, hey look, there's a function to turn that red light on, there's a function to turn that red light on. We've still got, my point is, they've still got 4 functions. So you've still got, you've still got your forward and your red that come on together, so that's one function. Vice versa, the other way round, so you've got the second function. And then you've basically got 2 functions that you turn on to turn this end off or this end off. And I can't really work it out, because you could have one function to do the white here, one function to do the red there, function. So there's your 4 functions. So again, it doesn't really make sense to me. I don't understand why they do that. I suspect it's something to do with the DC side of things, being able to use the model on DC. But again, I don't really quite work it out, because you can set models up to you can set models up to do different things on analog. So again, not really sure on that one. So yeah, but as I say, it's a solid 8. I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. It's definitely a very good improvement over the second generation of model, as I would probably call it. This is now the 3rd reiteration of it. So the first one obviously had just an 8-pin and no lighting in it. So yeah, nice to see that we're getting better models and we're getting more detail and all this sort of stuff. And of course the first argument is obviously the expense of the new models. They have been going up a lot of money. I believe the retail for this one is around the 380 mark. Is it 380 or 280? Oh, maybe I'm getting it really wrong. I'm probably going to need to have a quick look, I think, because I don't want to say things wrong. I don't want to say the wrong things, I really don't. Oh, it's the X, isn't it? SFXX. Sorry. Oh blimey, where have I gone wrong now? Let's actually go on a website. Sorry about this. Clyde Bridge, no, that's an interesting point, and I will get onto that in a second. So you are right in what you're saying. You can't put the coupling and the snow plows on at the same time, which again is really disappointing, because I like to do at least one end of the model with detail on, if not both, but you just can't do that on some models. This website is being extremely slow, so I'm really sorry. Yeah, so right, sorry, I was right, yeah. So the retail for this model is, ooh, hello, sorry, I've pushed a button and we've gone off camera, hang on. Again, not set the button up for this. So yeah, the yeah, Iron Horse, just hold your horses, okay? You're jumping ahead of my point. But anyway, yeah, so the normal model is 250 RRP. The sound fitted one is 34995. Sorry, I'll actually quote the right numbers, shall I? and the sound fitted deluxe one, which is obviously the working fan. And this is the other thing that winds me up as well with this model. This is another reason why I've marked it down. The glazing. They do this glazing on the model, but I'm pretty sure that this iridescent glazing kind of thing, this heated windscreen glazing kind of thing, doesn't actually exist on the 37s. So again, if I'm wrong, please someone correct me. You know, I'm not a guru of every single model and every single locomotive out there, but to me, it's really quite, I don't know if you can see it. It's quite irritating, I find, because you put the cab light on as well, and it really shows up. So yeah, that's hold your eye on horses. So yeah, that's another thing. But yeah, I mean, the working fan, love the working fan. You know, if Bachmann ever did put that out in the Bachmann spares parts that you could buy separately, I don't think they will. But if they did, I bet they'd be sold out of them, because there'd be so many people out there getting them for the sound fitted, and you know, yeah. I'd have probably been one of them myself, if I'm honest, but no, I've gone for the full hog, and I've gone and got the sound fitted deluxe. So there we go. So anyway, really good model, nice detail on it. Certainly steps in the right direction. The detail level's really nice. Nice to see the depth of the details there as well, with the additional springing on the inside, the springs on the inside that you can't normally see, and you definitely can't see on the 21, the first generation or the second generation model, that kind of thing. Tank detailing is lovely, pipes works lovely. You know, it's a really nice solid 8 out of 10 for me. Really nice. So right, now I have to give special thanks for this one. So I had a visitor over recently. I'll try not to mention any names, but he left me with some goodies for me to have a little play with and see what I thought and all this sort of stuff. And I have to, you know, thank this guy very much. If he wants to name and shame himself, by all means he can do if he's listening. Yeah. So I'll pop this one. I'll tell you what. I'll just pop this one up on the layout just so it's out of the way. Gonna have to pop him in the good. I'm gonna have to pop him in the good shed. Ooh, what's going on here? Oh, that's interesting. I've just been sent some pictures. I can't quite make it out. No, I can't quite make it out. But anyway. He is indeed. He's got a great beard. He's got a really great beard, actually. So kind of going after my own, I think. So I think he has a little bit of beard envy, but that's just me. Rules me out. Anyway, right. So I got left when this chap popped over. He left me this. Now, obviously, some of you are now saying, "Oh, it's a Cura scale," like this sort of thing. But yeah, it is a Cura scale, and just, well, wow. I mean, I'll be honest. This livery is not my cup of tea at all. But the more I use it and the more I play with this model, the more I sit there and go, actually, wow, it's really growing on me, this livery. Really, really growing on me. And yeah, so basically it was left to me to basically oh, I'll just see if I can pull the, you can never do this on camera, can you? So I'll just quickly pull the roof off. Now this was a non-sound model, so I've been sent the bits to install said model, Oh, I've just had a photo. I've just had a photo of a Class 37 with some clear glazing. So yes, I'm not wrong in what I'm saying. But anyway, so this was sent to me as a plain model, and basically I've installed the bits myself. So I've got some of the Acura Thrash speakers just sat to one side here. So I fitted one of those in here, and then I was sent the decoder as well to install into it as well. So yeah, I've done all that, and I've done a little video on it. So again, watch this sort of kind of space, and I'll be doing that as well. But yeah, I mean, steps forward, because the 55 Deltic, as we all know, had a smaller section which just gave you enough room just to get a decoder in, let alone to be able to install the speaker. So you had to remove the body, which was a little bit irritating, especially with the chains. I am happy to report that this one actually has the chains mounted onto the body. Excuse me. So if you do remove the body, clip, 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 and just pry them out. And obviously, if you fit the detail pack, remember to take your ETH plugs and everything like that off the front of the body. But the body just slides off. So yeah, massive well done to them. But you don't have to go that extreme anymore, because they've actually done the roof, so you can actually get the speaker in without having to take the body off, which is really nice. And the one thing I will say about this magnet system, it's wonderful. I mean, you know, I spend all day long pulling apart models on a daily basis. So to be actually just pull a magnetic roof off and then clip it back in, to see no visible sort of lining or anything like that to it, I mean, just you've just got to give them a round of applause for it. I mean, it's so well done. Now, obviously, the detail level, as we expect, is of a really high standard. Now, I'm really impressed with the amount of detail on this. You know, you could go and say, oh, you know, is the Bachmann one up to the same sort of caliber? The honest answer is no. There is much more detail level in this model, and you know, you just have to give full praise to Acura Scale for doing this. Now, obviously, as you can see there, I've fitted the detail pack. Whoa, hang on, it's a bit blurry. Sorry, I'll come back a little bit. So I have fitted the detail pack, and you know, the detail parts themselves are quite robust and quite well on as well. You get the 3 separate snow plows, which you can basically fit and stick in place, so you've got a nice detailed end. But you know, I've still got all the remaining bits in a box there. I've just sort of put them in a box just so they're kept safe to one side. But the thing that really impressed me was, one, it's in the right place. The snow plow doesn't stick forward, it doesn't stick prow or anything like that. Now, if I turn it round to the back, we can see a snow plow on the back, and it's still in the right place. But you'll also notice the snow plow's there, but the coupling's there as well. Now, the coupling moves, as does the snow plows, but what they've done is they've given you a little cutout that you can basically take the coupling out, put the coupling onto the snow plow, and then clip it back into place. And again, it's perfectly in line. There is no difference between the lining of the front or the lining of the back of them. It might just be funny angles on the camera, if I'm being honest. But, you know, that's a game changer. The fact that we can have couplings and snowplows on Class 37s, just fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, I mean, as a whole, I've been really pleased. I've been really honoured, I think, to be able to, you know, have this model, have a play with it, do a little sound install on it, and have a little play with the sound file and stuff. You know, fit the detail pack, and just overall have a you know, it's nice when someone brings me a model, but generally it's a case of I get a model for like 20 minutes to an hour or something, you know, in the time they're here, just to have a little play with, maybe do a quick little video or something like this. So the fact that I can't tell if he likes it or not, that's just mean. Of course I like it. I like it a lot. And the fact of the matter is that I'm not this would not be the one that I would pick. Out of all the bunch, I would not go and pick this one out of the litter. But the more I use this one, the more this livery completely and utterly grows on me. It's really, really nice. So I've stuck on all the little name plates. You get some small little etch plates that go underneath the windows as well. So they're all on there. You know, and alright, the fact that the fan doesn't work on it. Do you know what? For everything else that you've achieved, I can completely get over that. So, why do companies like Accurascale and Bachmann not fit drivers when they build them? They used to, is the honest answer. I don't know about Accurascale, they never used to. Obviously, they're fairly new kids on the block. But Bachmann certainly did once upon a time. But yes, you are right in what you're saying. But then again, it's a case of you now get the choice of the crews that you want to fit. So you can fit an earlier or a later era, is what I meant to say. So you can fit an earlier or a later era crew, so that's pretty cool. But yes, there you go, as New Junction says, and of course they'll put them at one end and it'll be at the wrong end for somebody, so they give you that option. But with how easy the body comes off the this one, it really doesn't matter. I mean, you know, let me just grab the Bachmann one back a second. You know, I've purposely left the screws out of this one. There are 8 screws on the new one, but you know, you can get the body off quite easy on that one. You can add your crew in there quite easy. So yeah, I mean, as a whole, it's interesting. While I've got this open, actually, it might be something interesting to point out to people. If you've got one of these and you're going to be putting sound in it, underneath where this decoder is, there's a little tiny hole. Now, I found the best thing you can do with that little hole is get a piece of tape and stick it over it. I mean, literally just stick the piece of tape over the hole, and that improves the sound quality of the speaker no end. It's really disappointing when they've gone through so much effort to do a model and then a piece of tape, you know, upgrades the sound quality. What? Very disappointing. But still, you know, as I said, you know, this is I've graded this on what I've seen so far and what the video I've done, so it still gets an 8. Now, if you want me to put a number on this, it would be a 9.5. Now, I hear people screaming at the screen right now, why? It's got to be a 10 out of 10. It's got to be a 10 out of 10. Right. Now, you know, the couple of things that you could mark this down on is, yes, it does lack a working fan. And yes, while the sound quality, and this is something I favour over anything else, the sound quality of the model is very, very good. It is quite quiet. But, you know, again, you know, I'm in a 10 by 10 room. Once you get this in a big area like this sort of thing, it's going to get lost in the sort of thing. But, you know, I favour the sound quality over. Can I show you how to take the body off the Accurascale one? Let me just see if I can get the. This is never a good thing on camera, right? Right, so obviously if you fit the detail pack, remember to remove that little ETH, but there we go. That is how easy that body comes off. There's no screws, there's no mecking around or anything. I didn't even have to take the roof off, for goodness sake. You know, so that is how easy they come apart. So I'm sorry, you know, if you're going to get hung up on the fact that you don't want to fit a driver and it's that easy to take a body off, well, you know, I'm staggered that actually came off that easy, to be honest. Very cool thing to show on camera. I'll put the roof just down for one side while I just reattach this. back in, just because it's a certain way of lining it up. But yeah, I mean, the body just comes, you'll hear it in a sec. He says, the greatest of ease. Just make sure I've got it in the right place. A little bit of a firm press down, but then the body does just click back on in place. Lovely. Hopefully that one's not quite gone down on that side, so we'll just squeeze it in a bit. There we go. Lovely. That's it. Body on and off, just like that. And then if I just get a pair of tweezers, push that little pig back in the hole. That's it. That's the ETH back on the front there. Get your roof, clip on, there you go. And that is just how easy that comes off. So sorry, I'm going to try and catch up with the chat. So Iron Horse Railway, can you take the body off? Wish you had the 92 to take the body off. If someone wants to send me a 92 for me to have a little play with, I'm more than happy to do things like that. The 92 is the same, just 4 clips. You would know, Mr. New Junction, so there we go. But yeah, no, I've not actually seen the 92 or had a play with the 92. But yeah, that is quite, that is really easy. And that's another reason to look at. Backman, pay attention. We don't need 8 screws. I'm sure that's easier to do than the 92. Well, clips are done. Tail lamp, Chris here. Hello, mate. Hope you're well. Hope the train's keeping you busy. It's probably a bit hot and sweaty on them today, or sticky on them anyway. But anyway, so this is exactly how it should be with all locomotives going forward. Do you know what? I can't argue with you there. I completely agree with you. This method of working on your locomotive is phenomenal, and the detail level is just next level. I mean, me personally, I've got one of the Locomotion green models on order, so really excited to expand my green fleet, as you can see. So I've got 6710, which is the new one just here. This is the new Batman one. I've got 6714, which is the previous 21 pin model. But yeah, I do like 37s as a whole. Diesel wise, obviously, as some of you guys can see, I've got very little in the way of diesels, but when I do get them, I do tend to go all out on them. So I have quite a few Class 03s. I have an 08, I have 14, this sort of thing. It's stuff that catches my eye and stuff I really like, and the 37 has always been one that I have just gone for. But I'd be nervous, but I'll give it a try. It's, honestly, get your little handbook out as well, have a little read, because it does stipulate where the clips are. So the clips are just in line with these rear wheels, and I've literally just found that just grabbing the inside edge and just gently prying along, you can go from there. And obviously, as I explained, make sure, if you have fitted the detail pack already, make sure you take out your ETH cables or any other cables that are going to attach to the top part of the body. So, but yes, so really, really nice. And the reason I say I've got 4, I am not a modern, can I just stress, I'm not a modern image person at all, but this one, Spirit of the Lake, really cool model, really exceptional model again. Let me just move that to one side. This is obviously a sort of test it out, try it out, break it sort of model, so it's a case of this one's been a little bit knocked, a little bit handled or anything like that. Any problems, Tim? Get in touch with Accurascale. Yes, Accurascale seem to be getting good marks at the moment for their customer service. Iron Horse Railways will tell us a nice little tale of how they've looked after him. I've got to be honest, most companies would have probably just gone, oh well, that's that's your problem. But from what I've seen from Iron Horse's latest video, that they've gone above and beyond. So fantastic, sounds like fantastic customer service. So, but then again, you've got friends in the right places. You get lent all sorts of goodies. But yeah, no, really like the livery on that one. Really like the plain blue livery anyway. I love the plain blue livery on the 68s as well. So yeah, I would joke and say that I might build one at some point in 5-inch gauge class 68, just because it would be awesome to hear my sound file through some monster speaker of this 5-inch gauge thing thundering down the track with loads of coaches behind it. Although saying that, it wouldn't look very appropriate with a load of Mark 1s behind it. But anyway, there we go. Locomotion lotion. It's easy to undo. I'm still scared to undo mine, but it's so expensive. I've always worried about going to break it. I think that is that is the common thing with a lot of people. A lot of people are scared to absolutely cannot fault them at all, says Iron Horse there, excuse me. Most people are scared to pull their models apart at the end of the day, but they have been thought about. People have put these out there to basically say, hey, try this, have a play with this, pull it apart, test this. That's the whole reason this one's here. For me, just to have a play with, put things into it, try it, give my feedback and all this. And with models coming apart just like that, so easily, it's great. So are these your own or on loan? No, they're on loan to me. I do have the locomotion version, which is the all green 37.0 coming when they finally come round. But these two here, sorry, I'll just put them like that. Those two there, they are on loan to me. Well, as far as I'm aware. I don't think I'll get to keep them. Although, if I'm honest, this livery has grown on me so much that I'd be tempted to keep it if I had the offer. But there we go. But anyway, you know what? I'm lost for words. I'm just so staggered about how much is packed into these models, and how much they do. The built-in stay alive. Obviously, there has been a little gremlin that I have noticed. Iron Horse, in particular, has obviously highlighted the fact that there is a gremlin with the stay alive on them. But I know exactly why they've done it this way. So the charge circuit usually on an ESU decoder is controlled by the decoder itself. So the decoder, you set the function up and you basically state that this particular function output is power pack charge control, basically. Now, obviously, to get the full use out of the lighting, to get all the amount of lights and everything that these models have got on them, this one in particular has got loads of lights on it. There's not so many lights on this one, but at the end of the day, it's the same PCB and all this sort of stuff. But what they've basically done is they've put a stay alive circuit in there that allows you to put any 21-pin decoder in there. So if you're not interested in sound, you can still put a 21-pin decoder in there, and the stay alive function, as far as I'm aware, it would still work. You could get a lock pilot and that will go in there, that will still work. And as far as I'm aware, because the charge circuit is built into the actual PCB board on the model, I believe, and I will do some testing with this. Actually, it's the last kind of thing that I need to do in my video before I put it out. I want to test these models with some different 21-pin decoders. Now, obviously, I understand the fact that I'm not going to get the full benefit of all the lighting features, but it would just be interesting to see if, another 21-pin manufacturer could go in these models and the stay alive side of it still work. And I do believe that is the case, and I do believe that's why they've done it. The other reason why they've done it this way as well is, again, highlighted by Iron Horse, is obviously when you're running these models on DC, you don't want the stay alive charge circuit to be working on them. So this is why it's been highlighted by Iron Horse that if you're running it on a DCC system that's less than 12 volt, then the charge circuit isn't going to work. And that's probably due to the fact that obviously the charge circuit itself will remain dormant and switch itself off when it's being used on a 12 volt DC analog track. So good evening, Mr. Ward. Yes, we have been speaking about you, your nice little visit to my railway today, and it's just been great to see it used and abused is the best way to explain it. I have seen more trains and more locomotives run around this layout today than I have in the whole time I've had it. I just can't do it. When I do a stream, I just can't run multiple engines like this sort of thing. But when there was at least 3, at one point 4 of us driving engines left, right and centre, and the fact that they were all running around, they never crashed into each other, they never crossed each other's path or anything like this. It was great to see. So massive thanks to you, Johnny, for coming in and having a play. Oliver as well, thank you very much as well. I hope you've had a really good day. We've really enjoyed, me and the wife have really enjoyed having you guys here today. So thank you so much for coming over, and I hope to see you again soon. Right, let me just see. Aaron, John, everyone, I've liked the chat. Any chance of a traditional tonight, the Pullman at the end of the session? Yes, the Pullman is down the far end, Aaron, so do remind me closer to the time. It was load. Excellent. So excellent. I was only going to get one loco, and that was the Intercity liveried 37, but now I'm looking at more. I've already pre-ordered another. I want to talk to excellent. Iron Horse. Funny story about my 37. I accidentally coupled it up to my 66, didn't realise, moved off, and the 36. Do you know what? I can believe that. These things are staggering weight. In actual fact, do you know what? It's definitely, I can't say how heavy, but it's definitely heavier than, I've never thought to try this actually, but I mean the original 37, my 21 pin, my second generation 37 is loud. It was loud. Yeah, we did have a lot of locos running around the layout. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that chat. I hope it's given you some insight. Do you know what? If there's I'm just going to say it. Do you know what? If there's a livery in one of the Akira Scale 37s that you like, just buy it. I just like it so much. I mean, yeah, okay, I haven't given it a solid 10 out of 10. There are a couple of little things that you can mark it down on. The working fan, the volume level being a little bit on the low side. But if you're like me and you like the sound quality over the loudness, because the one thing I can't stand is when you go to an exhibition and you're halfway down the hall and you can still hear the layout 3 layouts down because the things are whirring away, whizzing away and basically deafening everyone in the place. That is not my idea of sound quality. That is just somebody wrapping the blooming volume up all the way to 11 just for the sake of it, just to go, oh, here you go, listen to how loud my loco is. It's not sound quality. It's not anything. These are brilliant sound quality. I haven't done anything to these models to change them or make them sound better or anything like this. This one, on the other hand, the new Bachmann Plux 22 model, I've used a piece of tape, a single piece of tape to improve the sound quality on that one, and it just, do you know what? I can't get over it. It's such a massive oversight. If you've got an open speaker at one end, it needs to be enclosed the other side. You've got 2 sides to a speaker. One side needs to ideally be enclosed in some way, shape or form. And that's the trick they've missed out with this one. They've put the speaker in. Now the speaker itself has a little plastic grill over the front of it. Now that little plastic grill has 5 little holes. You then put the speaker up against the PCB and there's 3 screws that retain it, and then those 5 holes go down to 1 hole which lines up. But if you put a single piece of tape, so just under where the decoder sits in this, You lift the decoder up, and then you'll find there's a little tiny, just a single little hole, probably 3mm hole. Just put a piece of black tape over it, and you'll be amazed just how much of a change and improvement in sound quality that makes. The only other thing I probably would stress is maybe a little piece of foam tape just each side, just to stop the body from vibrating. But there we go. So, but yes, Acura scale 37s, a good, do you know what, let's go 9.5. Let's go 9.5. They are absolutely brill. Johnny Ward, I'll vouch for the blue traction, sounded spot on. There you go. So oh, the Acura scale has flange squeal feature working for it as well. Yes, it does. Yeah, it has a flange squeal feature that not only you can activate, but then obviously when you start turning the corner as well, you actually get the flange squeal in the right place, which is again fantastic. It's a shame because I have a few Bachmann locos. They are lovely. They seem, but seems they've not too bothered. Excuse me. They seem they're not. They. Oh crikey! Why can't I can't get a sentence out today. Yes. But anyway, yeah, what you're saying there, Iron Horse, the finesse of the model. More interested in the massive price hikes. Yeah, it is a real shame. You know, it's a good contender, but again, these, do you know, the more I play with them, the more I use them, the more I just think, you know, Acura scale are the ones to watch in the market at the moment. They are just churning out some fantastic models. Now, you know, I will stress that I had the Deltic and I sold the Deltic, if I'm honest. The main reason I sold my Deltic is I have 30 feet of layout here, and I got so annoyed with, you know, going around the entire layout trying to find that one little piece that's fallen off it. So yeah, you know, the Deltic was a bit of an impulse buy. I do love the sound of a Deltic, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't fit with anything I do. So again, it went. But the 37, you know, they will definitely be here to stay, and they're great. They're just fab. They're just brilliant. But anyway, what I should probably do is stop rambling on, because I've been going on an hour now about 37s. Wow, that's how much I like me 37s, I guess. But yeah, on the high note sort of thing, great contender, great potential there. Just falls short of the last hurdle. This one, on the other hand, just wow. You know, fantastic. Solid 9.5 from me. The only reason I'm knocking it down the half mark is because no working fan. And again, you know, people will sort of gripe at the fact that the sound level's a little bit on the quiet side. But what I'll do, I'll tell you what, I believe they had lots of QC improvements. Yes, that is exactly my hope too, Iron Horse. So as Iron Horse has said there, the quality control issues that have been mentioned and flagged with the Deltic, they will be improved upon on the next run. I do know that for a fact, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, let's get some 37s out of the way. There's also a couple of changes that have happened to the layout, one of which I'm trying not to bash my head on at the moment. So we'll tuck that one inside in there. This is great fun, me just re-rating trains while you listen to me do it. Fantastic. And who said web streaming was boring? Well, I've got to be honest, it's one of those kind of things that I watch a lot of people I know that do videos as opposed to lives. I do kind of wonder why that is, actually. And, you know, I think it is, you know, there is a lot of potential to save yourself some embarrassment, shall we say. Because there has been a couple of embarrassing moments on this channel. Right, so I'm just going to turn the light off now. And I'm going to move this camera out of the way. But what I'll first do is I'll change the camera over. And you can see. So, Right, so we've got some fencing, we've got some bits and all this lot. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Right. So we've got the station area there, and unfortunately we can see the horrible little thing. We've got some new grass around here, and some new walling and all this sort of stuff. So we've got an overgrown, real horrible coloured, overgrown sort of stuff, and then some nice grass all there. And the idea that's going to be some sort of kids at play and kids kind of watching the railway and all that sort of stuff. So that'll be pretty cool to watch as well. Sorry, I feel like I've been waffling on so much about 37s that I've lost. I've actually lost the. Does it have accelerometer? It has a sensor. I believe it has a hall sensor, Timber Surf. So when it goes round, reading's not for everyone, John. Thank you, Richard. I really appreciate that. Not my strongest points, but you know my strongest points anyway. Anyway, if you're after a premium 37, why even bother with the Bachmann one? Well, the honest answer is from my point of view, it would be to compare them. You know, my original intention was to basically go get the 37s, get the ones that I wanted, and keep the one that I liked. Now, the honest answer is, even when my Acura scale locomotion all green one lands, I will probably still keep the 37. I have got someone who's after my original 37, and he is pursuing me quite aggressively, I think would be the word, for me to sell my older version. But again, this is the thing, I like them so much that I won't part with them, I won't sell. But there we go. Hey Gen G, hello everyone. Right, so as all of you all of you are aware, that is my lovely wife who's decided to join us in the chat this evening. So awfully good, excellent. So you need to insert a magnet in the bend of the track. No. As the bogie turns, it's a case of so as the bogies pivot, excuse me, it then activates the hall sensor, and at that point it then gives you your flange squill. So there's nothing additional you need to do. It's just a case of as it goes around the corner. I'll try and show you it in a bit. Function 11, I must remember the functions because obviously it's a little bit different to me. So Iron Horse, John, I think it's worth mentioning that I've got a little device from DCC Concepts that stops current inrush. Well, that's cool. If you've got that, that's pretty cool. So that's a cool little feature. But yeah, that is a sort of problem if you do have locomotives with Stay Alive. If you've got lots of locomotives with Stay Alive, it's a case of the inrush current that's required to first power on those Stay Alives sometimes makes the DCC system cut out. Now I had the same problem here, so I have the I've actually upgraded my DR5000 to a Yamahawk, YD7001. So a little card you can buy, do the firmware upgrade, all that sort of stuff. So mine's upgraded. The other thing I also have is behind me over in the MPD area, I have a booster which is the DR5033, excuse me, and again that's a 3 amp system. So basically I've got a 3 amp just for the MPD area over there, and that's basically to avoid this inrush current issue that you say you've been having there, Iron Horse. So yeah, excellent. Hot Dog Andy, now the magnet is on the bogie and passes hall sensor, so that, yep, there you go. And that person looking for his 37 is not me. Clyde Bridge is a 33 zone, 37 free zone. Get them, just get them, just get one. You'll never look back. You'll never ever look at another 37 once you've had an Acura scale one. Honestly, just completely blows the competition out of the water. Price, you know, detail level, price, you know, you can overlook all those silly little things. sounds like you're good to go then, mate. Well done. Yeah, no, I'm cool. I'm all fine with my system. Works really well, actually, this layout. So, and after today, I definitely saw it working extremely well. It was so, I cannot stress just how rewarding it was to watch 4 people all controlling trains on the layout at the same time, you know, with points, you know, other people changing points, locos running up to those points, stopping, so they didn't derail or anything like that. They stopped before they got to the points, everything. It was so good to watch. Really enjoyed myself today. So there we go. Right, back to the cameras. So, so camera 2 has taken a little bit of an elevation now. So it's floating above the signal box. That is unfortunately what my little empty glass jar of Cadbury's chocolate spread is doing. It's just holding the camera up a little bit higher, so we've got the overhead sort of shot, so it looks over that signal box as well. So you can also see inside the signal box there is our lovely little lurking camera again. That is still in play. It's interesting, it's good. I do have another version here, but as you can see, the board is a little bit on the long thin side. So far, playing with that, the camera quality is much better. However, this one has a problem that it gets very hot very quickly and the camera picture shuts out. But there is a little bit of a know-how. There's a little bit of a pad on the back that you can attach a heatsink to, and that will hopefully rectify, excuse me, that problem. So yeah, that'll be in play very soon once I get that sorted anyway. So excellent. Haul on the chassis, sounds like you've got it sorted. The crew at Clydebridge don't sign 37s, just 08s, 47s and 60s. 60s are cool, I do like 60s, but there we go. Tim, is that you or New Junction on the bridge? That is New Junction on the bridge there. There he is. So you won't, unfortunately you won't see, oh, you can just see her actually. There's my wife on the platform just there. She's looking after Jenna Peckett. Your wife is not on the platform yet. No, she has. No, Clydebridge, she's moved. She's there now. She's just lurking just in the camera shot there, actually. So the camera has changed a slight bit of angle there. It's actually moved down, annoyingly. I think the heat. I think the heat sometimes moves these cameras, but anyway, so that's the camera angle I wanted anyway. So yeah, but that is, sorry, as it was pointed out, that is Mini Jenna and Iron Horse? No, excuse me, New Junction. Iron Horse, you need to do a figure. But yeah, so my sort of progression is as people do figures, etc., I will get them done. I do need to get myself done at some point because it'd be really cool to have me on the layout somewhere. But yeah, I will go through and do little mini cameos with people and everything like that. Maybe I can have the Hornby magazine team all lined up along this wall looking at trains. That would be quite funny. Anyway, right, camera 3. So this is the, I'm going to call it the piece of 1950s, 1960s cinematic living camera. It's, as I'm waving my hand about there, it's struggling to keep focus and keep streaming. Look at that colour wash. It's just so bad. It's unfortunate, but it does give a really good view. It does give a really good viewing angle, all this sort of stuff. So I will be on the hunt to try and find a better camera for that as well. Camera's been shocked by vibration of all the tractors. Excellent. Yeah, I'll go with that. Actually, that's pretty cool. A figure with a fuse that's once lit. Excellent. Fantastic. So yeah, I'll just carry on as well. So camera angles, we've changed that one a little bit as well. So that's moved slightly across and then further inbound to the layout. The idea being that we can basically just keep an eye on certain things, and as you can see, the DRS 37 is lurking in the head shunt just there. So lovely. Now this is the one that's changed a little bit because you won't be able to see it. Oh, do you know what? I've just realised that's poking at my lighting, so I'm going to dip that down. I'm going to dip it down a little bit, excuse me. So yeah, this next camera angle has basically changed. Do a model U of you and Jenna waiting for the station, having a coffee, sitting at a table, or standing waiting for a train. Excellent. Yeah, I definitely do need to get myself scanned as well. As I said, I got my wife done a long time ago, actually, when we first started dating. So yeah, it's been interesting, shall we say? No, I've loved. You know what? I just she was just the one for me. There's nothing else to really put it. You know, she puts up with a lot of railway related indulgences, shall we say. She does get her way time to time and tell me no when I'm thinking of buying something else, but I know she does it for a reason, and you know, I do love her for it anyway. But there we go. So yeah, sorry, going back to the camera. So where my hand is roughly where the shed camera is. It is up there, and basically what I've done is I've used a I can't think what they call it now, like a batten bracket or something like that. It's a very long L-shaped bracket basically, and that was basically fixed to the wall in a raw plug that was already in the previous place. But yeah, what I've now done is the camera angle is now up nice and high, and gives a what I think is a much better overview of the shed area as a whole. I think, you know, do let me know what you guys think in the comments. So there we go. Stop laughing at me, being all gooey for the sake of you. Iron Horse Railways, not enough rest. That's not nice. Oh, I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. Don't be silly. Get yourself a 3D print done. Come on, do it. I'll tell you what. I'll get one done if you get one done, Iron Horse. All right. I'd buy a Model U of you and Jenna. I'm going to have about 5 done of me in a few poses. We won't ask what the poses are. We'll avoid that conversation. Excellent. I will buy loads of Model U me, all painted slightly different. I'll buy Richard, Mr. New Junction. Aaron, that'll be cool. There we go. See, the wife's up for that idea, I guess. Then, yeah. So that's obviously the changes that have happened to the layout. So right, I really should. This is what happens, right? I get a lot of criticism by the fact that I don't seem to have a kind of topic of conversation when I first start these streams. And then I go and do one with a topic of conversation, and then I find that I haven't done anything. I haven't run any trains or moved anything in over an hour. You know, that was not like, you know, not what it was like today. Everything was moving. Everything was all over the place. So, right, what I'm going to do, first of all, is I'm just going to basically do a little bit of a sound. Let's call it a sound off, shall we? Sound off? Maybe not. Wrong camera, sorry. So I have the 3 models up here. So what I will do is I'll try and be fair with them all. I'll leave them roughly where they are. Obviously the main microphone is in front of me here. So again, if the sound probably won't come through that clear, probably won't sound that great and all this sort of stuff, but it will give you some idea. The other thing you're going to hear as well is obviously the slightly bassier models, i.e. my previous 21 pin and the Acura Scale 37, they're going to reverberate a lot through the baseboard, so you will probably hear quite a deep sound from those. So right, the first thing I'm going to do is I will start with the Bachmann model, so this new Bachmann model over here, right, and all I will do is I'll put it in a cold start and I'll basically fire them up. Okay, so each model has a very similar sound file on. So the Acura Scale one, which we know is done by Jamie Goodman, and then we've got the two models, this one and my one over the far side. I say they're both mine, but anyway, the new Bachmann one and the second generation. Disturbing the sound, aren't I? My point is they're all Jamie's Class 37 sound files, and the reason I've done that is because I'm trying to make it fair. This is the whole reason I've taken out the original MS decoder from the new Bachmann Sound Fitted Deluxe model, because again I want to put the ESU chip in there and I want to use it on Engine Man Jamie Goodman sound files, because I want to try and make it as fair as I possibly can with what I do in my video. And then what I'll do is I will do a drive hold. I'll put each of them up to about 50 speed steps on the drive hold. Please do leave me a bit of a comment. Let me know how the sound is coming through to you guys. I have no idea how well it's coming through. And then what we'll do is we'll just rev them up, max power. And then we'll just drag it all the way down, turn drive hold off, and then what we'll do is we'll stop that engine, okay? Loud. Oh good, okay, so it's coming through nice and loud. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Timbersurf. You know, as a whole, it's very nice. It's an improvement. You know, obviously, you know, people aren't going to go to town on their models like I do, so that's interesting. See, that's there, just there. I can see it. That horrible pink tint with the cab light on, with that horrible pink tint. Yeah, that glazing just shouldn't have happened. Don't know why they did it that way. Should have just left that one alone. It's not on the real thing. It shouldn't be on there. So really, I think it just bugs me. I think it's probably the best way to explain it. But anyway, right. So in true form, what I should probably do is I shall say I will leave the best for last. But let me just reiterate, I'm not saying that it's the best model. I'm saying it's the best sounding of the three models. So the next one I will do will be the Acura Scale one. Now everyone's going to be going at the screen. They sound brilliant. They sound amazing. Yep. you know, I will stress that they do sound fantastic, they do sound amazing, but you've got, in comparison, let's look at the two models very objectively. We've got the Accurascale model has a 15x11 sugar cube driver in it, as well as an EM1 speaker. Okay, now what I've done with my previous, Generation 2 Bachmann 21 pin model is, obviously I've stripped that all out and I've put independent lighting and all that sort of stuff, but I have an EM2 in the tanks and I have an 18x13 driver in a 20x20 box inside the model. So, you know, on comparison, that will be the better sounding model. And the amusing thing is the volume is turned down a lot more than the Accurascale one, but it is still louder. But, you know, that is no fault of Accurascale. You know, at the end of the day, I have bigger speakers in my model, but that has taken a lot of work to get to that level. You know, it's not a model you can buy straight off the shelf, plonk it on the track, and it will sound that good. Whereas the Accurascale one, you buy it, you get it out of the box, you put it on the track, and hey presto, it sounds that good from word go. So anyway, right. 3727, boom, 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 boom. Oh, oh, oh. I've not put it in cold start, so I'm really sorry. Because I forgot, mainly. That just sounds great. You can't, I'm sorry, you can't. But getting that out of the box, putting it on the layout, and hearing that sound quality, you can't fault it. You just can't. It is fantastic. I mean, I can hear that just here reverberating through the board like crazy. So, same principle again. What we'll do is we'll put it in drive lock or drive hold. We'll put it up to speed step 50. We'll let it get up to speed and then we'll rev it through again. So 50. That is decent. That really is decent. So we're letting it settle and then we'll give it full revs now. I don't know how well that's coming through, but the reverberation underneath this layout is just it's just brilliant. Awesome. That's. I'm sorry. You can't. You just can't. It's not. No, sorry. That. I'm nitpicking. Is probably the best way to explain it. It is very bassy, yes, that I will agree with you, Hot Dog Pilot. You know, it's nice tractor thrash, yeah. It's a very, very good sounding model, and this is the one thing I want to stress more than anything. The sound quality is totally there. The level of sound is really good, and overall, I have to say, the sound, you know, for me personally, that is perfect. You know, it's got a great sound, it's got a great thrash, it's got a really good note to it and all this sort of stuff. You know, please don't mistake me saying that it's quiet as a negative point. It's not quiet, it's a good sound, it's a nice level of sound, but I'm in a little 10x10 box is the best way to explain it, and obviously that goes all the way down the far end of the garage as well. But yeah, this little room that I'm in is a 10x10 room, so the sound quality is absolutely superb, absolutely excellent, and the sound level is brilliant for this room. The second you start introducing this into a much larger environment, exhibition halls, all that sort of stuff, unless you are stood directly in front of the layout, you will lose the sound. You know, it will be drowned out by quite a lot of other models out there that people love to really annoy people with ying 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 and so on and so forth. But anyway, so there we go. Wangok, good evening, John and everyone, and crew. Ooh, got a crew now. I'm hearing the thud through the boards. Yeah, definitely. The reverb through these boards here. So the layout is just here above. You know, that is me tapping the bottom of the layout there. So, and that loco is just there in front of us. So it's not far off the microphone at all. But anyway, right, I'll shut that one down. And then I'm going to fire up the second generation 21 pin. So ying 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 ying. Yeah, well, 66s, 20s and 40s. Ah, please. Too much whistle. I hate them. They annoy me. That's why I've just got rid of my class 20. But anyway, right. So anyway, I'll go to this one now. You know, I'm going to stress it. It is a louder model. It has got bigger speakers in. So yes, you know, my opinion, it does sound better than the Acura Scale 1. But I have spent a lot of time getting this model to sound this good. You know, a lot of cutting, a lot of pulling the model apart and all this sort of stuff. So this is a lot of time extra on the model. The fact that you can pull an Acura Scale model out of a box and put it on your layout and it sounds that good is phenomenal. Okay, it is brilliant. You know, hearing an Acura Scale model and then going to the levels that I've had to go to with this particular model, with this far one on the far side here, this green one, I can't quite get my hand to, sorry. But that green one on the far side, I have had to destroy the model, is the best way to explain it. That's probably a harsh way of saying it. You know, the model itself is fine, but it's the fact that I've literally cut all the tanks out and everything. And out of the three, it is the lightest one, so it is the one that will pull the least amount of stuff. But anyway, right, so I'll fire that one up. We have all the independent cab lights and all that sort of stuff as well. Yes, and Iron Horse, great. They're taking work away from me. Fantastic. For me, trying to charge somebody the amount of time to do that model there in comparison to just picking up an Acura Scale one, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth the amount of time and aggro. You hit the nail on the head there, Iron Horse. Actually, I haven't seen Wangok for a while, actually. He's usually lurking in Jenny's chats somewhere, but there we go. Cold start, yep. Sorry, I did say I'd do cold start. I will have to go back to the Acura Scale 1. And do the cold start properly, I think. So, right, same principle again. I'll put drive hold on, and then we'll go up to 50, and then we'll let that settle for a bit, and then we'll go up to full whack. So, 50. I just hope that's coming through as well as I hope it is. But, you know, please don't take this as a negative at all. It's really, really refreshing and really, really full marks to Acura Scale for getting this kind of level of sound quality out of a model from word go. You know, I spend most of my life, is probably the best way to explain it, getting hold of models and trying to make them sound better all the time. Now, if the Acura Scale model had been around when I did my original Bachmann 37, you know, to me, all the effort just would not seem worth it, and that is the point I will stress here. All the effort with the Acura Scale 1 on the market and the sound quality that it delivers, it's just not worth the effort to rip a model apart as much as I have to get that speaker in there. Now, you know, obviously sound is always an objective thing, and it's a case of it's a personal thing, all this kind of stuff, but basically, you know, yes, my earlier one does sound better. I can't deny that. I'm sorry, lots of people are going to hate me for it, but you know, for what you get out of a box, the Acura Scale 1 is brilliant. It's fantastic. The sound quality is very, very, very good. I'll just shut my one up a minute and I'll go back to the Acura Scale 1, and then I'll let you hear the cold start, because I didn't feel that was fair, so I do want to be fair. Johnny Ward, what impressed me is that what impressed me the most with both yours and the Acura Scale sound project was the noise when it hits a field of divert, single spiral triggering stuff. proper spine tingling stuff, excuse me. Excellent. That is the way to explain it. I mean, again, this is another point I've done, because I've introduced all the models with the same sound file, or well, it's not the same at the end of the day, excuse me, that's the wrong term. They're all done by Jamie, they're all done by Jamie Goodman, who does the sound files. They're all got his sound file on, so I've tried to make them as fair as I can. Right, I'm going to fire up the Acura Scale 1 again. This time it'll be in a cold start, I hope. Oh, there we go. Right, there's a cold start. I mean, that is just so good. To be able to pick up that model, take it out of the box, put it on your layout, and it sound that good. Man, I feel like I'm waving my arm a lot here, but you know, I'm trying to stress this point. You know, the fact that you can get that out of the box, stick it on your layout, and it sound that good. Acura Scale, they've just got it. They've just got something special there. You know, the model is superbly detailed. The liveries that you get it in, you know, listen to it though, it's ace. It is ace. And the fact that, you know, again, you can buy that model. You know, you know, you don't have to make it. You don't have to spend the time and hours and evenings and all this sort of stuff trying to get everything into a certain place and cutting things down so they work properly and cutting weights out and all this sort of stuff. You can buy that, stick it on your layout, and it sounds that great, and it is that ace. So there's the word for it, ace. So anyway, right, let's take something for a drive, shall we? better be the Acura scale one. Oh, that's another cool little trick as well. The lights go out on the cab. I'm not a fan of that, but some people like it. Ooh, I'm not following it very well, am I? Oh, and that camera's decided to freeze on us. Right, okay. The man is waving his arms about, he means business. That's coming from my wife, guys, so yeah, there you go. And there it goes, disappearing into the distance. Bear with me a sec, I just need to run down the far end. One of the gremlins with having other people running your layout in is you've got to make sure all your tracks are clear. Excellent stuff. Really looking forward to the refurbished Hatton's upgraded Class 66. Do love a shed. Yes, so am I. I used to get so wound up by the Hatton's ones where you used to take the body off and something would ping off it and fly off it in a million miles direction, and it was just like, it was just there a second ago and now it's somewhere on the floor, you know. Yeah, so yeah, really looking forward to the Acura Scale 66 refurbs, but there we go. You on your own have just sold the last of the Acura Scale Warehouse 37 stocks. Well, cool, you know, maybe I'll get a discount on my stuff. But this is one thing I will stress. Obviously, I do work for a model railway company. I work for Digitrains in Lincoln. We do not stock Acura Scale. Really disappointing, Lee, is probably the word I would use right now, because they're so good. I mean, you can hear that coming through here now. It's on its way back. There it comes. That is decent. That is really, really crackers. Awesome. Awesome stuff. Really is. Right, so what we'll do is we will just move. Can't find my mouse. Oh, there it is. I'm just going to pop the, because I'm actually running out of time. This is what's shocked me the most. I've completely and utterly run out of time. I've given myself an agenda. I've decided I'm going to talk about 37s all evening, which I have. Not that there's a big thing with that, because 37s, in my opinion, are great. I'm so much more a steam person, but honestly, 37s are just so cool. I'm going to quickly fire up that DRS one as well while I'm here. Figure I might as well. Can't remember the number. 3723. Shut that other one up a second. Whoops. Wangok, I bet Gen G is glad they don't stock a Acura Scale. You're probably right there. It would be good if Digitrains did stock a Acura Scale. Yeah, do you know what? I might, well, I might have to see what we can do there, I think. Seems a shame that we don't. Oh, hang on. Keep. It's a bit weird seeing this sort of diesel traction running around this layout. It's quite entertaining actually, so yeah. John will go along with anything you care to serve up. Well, that's interesting. Whoops. Whoops. Bonk. Live on camera, we test to see the effects of an Acura scale 37 into a buffer stop. There we go. Very cool though. All the lighting features. Very cool. All the functions. Cab lights, etc. Is it that one? Yeah, there's all the don't know how well it come through on camera. There's all the lighting for the inside of the, there we go, we can turn on and off the lighting for the engine room stuff, everything. Just, yeah, fantastic. All the lighting options, all the different bits as well. Definitely worth to it. Please use your influence to Digitrains to stock Acura scale products. I will see what I can do. I'm not going to promise anything. Obviously, that's above my. It's a little bit above my pay grade, but we'll see if we can get some Acura scale stuff. I'm hoping to get a 37. Says Robin. Robin, get a 37. Get the Acura scale 37. That is the one to get, in my opinion. Definitely worth getting. Straight out of the box, sound quality, everything about it's just absolutely perfect. As I was saying earlier, you know, I've rated these models and I've given it a sort of, I'll give it a 9.5. There are a few little things that, you know, the lack of a working fan, stuff like that. I try to be as fair as I can and look at all the different models and the pros and cons of each models and all this sort of stuff, but the honest answer is just get a 37 from Acura scale. Just lovely. My dad works at Collinsby in Lincoln. When I go to visit, I might go through Lincoln and stop off at the shop. Yeah, do stop off, come say hello. We're there, so we're there most days, so yeah. Right, the one thing I've really got to do, I need to get a 37 out of a platform. Otherwise, we're going to miss the... Is it worth selling a kidney? Yes, definitely. Sell your kidney. Buy an Acura scale 37. it would get an A. It'd get an A+ sticker. No. So the Acura scale models that you see here are basically on loan to me, very, very kindly. I'm sure you've all worked it out by now who they're on loan from, but basically he has a couple of my engines. This is why no one can see the Black 5 or the 8F, because you might see them in a certain New Junction's latest videos. So do keep an eye out for them. The 8F and the Black 5 that he's currently got, they belong to me. So I've got these models on loan. Well, basically what we did was we swapped. So he's got 2 of mine and I've got 2 of his, basically. Quite honoured to be able to have a play with them, have a poke about at them, and install sound chip in one of them. It just interesting, really refreshing, just to see how easy it was. And obviously, you know, if you've just joined the stream and you didn't see it earlier, go back and watch earlier in the stream, because I actually take the body off the Acura Scale 37 live on camera. Went a lot better than I thought, admittedly, but yeah. So yeah, definitely worth going and having a look. That is good. As my earlier model, but as I say, just the amount of time and effort I've put into that to get it to sound that good. Just buy an Acura Scale one. It's so much easier. All the way down the far end of the loop, as you can see, sidings have been started to be introduced. There we go. We're just coming into the loop now. Oh, right, yes, okay, hang on. I'll go and do that. Sorry, I did say I was going to do that, didn't I? So, right, let me just... park that one up quickly. Oh, we've got a little intruder. Some little bugs found its way into the through the window. Right, we'll stop that one there. We'll get it set up, ready for the Blue Pullman, because that is a tradition now. So, Aaron, I hope you're watching. Right. Quickly, what I'll do is run camera. $11. Don't think I've tried it on this model yet. Don't know if a medium radius will kick it in or not. This is the problem I've got. I don't really have. Everything I have on my layout is all radius 4, so I need to just quickly do quick change round. It should squeal. Don't see why it wouldn't. Maybe I've just not got tight enough corners. It's embarrassing. Right, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to send it into this siding down the front here because it's probably the tightest bit of track I have on the layout. I'll put it in speed lock, and then what I'll do is I'll drop the throttle. I'm hoping this is tight enough to trigger it. That's the brake squeal. Huh. Oops, wrong way. Now I'm just fumigating the goods depot. Drive faster then. Okay. Problem is I don't want it to be thrashing so much that we don't hear the flange squeal. Well, it's definitely more speed, but we definitely didn't hear any flange squeal there. Well, there you go. It's always... Oh, I've got speed lock on. No matter how hard John tried, he couldn't make his flange squeal. Yep. That's a good old Thomas book there, isn't it? Right, okay. Well, unfortunately, obviously, not tested theory. That's come to... that's come back and bit me. So, never mind. Right, I'll park it up in the siding. And then we've got the time for the traditional one last run of the Blue Pullman. I feel really bad I can't do that now. My curves are generally radius 4. I don't really have any tighter radiuses than that, actually. There's definitely no radius 2 on the layout, and all the point work on here is basically medium. Back to 9 then. Oh, I'm sure it's more user error than a problem with the model, if I'm honest, but there we go. So, but yeah, as I say, my corners on this layout tend to be radius 4. I do have one radius 3 down the far end, but obviously that's not going to help us hear it when it's 30 feet down that direction there. So yeah, we won't hear that. Yeah. It was a good pivot on the bogey though. I will look into it. I will apologise and say I'd not tested that out, and I will look into that and make sure I do a follow-up into the end of the video. But anyway, so right, Lee Pullman. Get it all started up. This is the biggest train that I can physically get on this layout. Well, physically fit in the station. As Jonathan Ward and his lad Oliver found out earlier, it only just fits in the station. What are we thinking of the new camera angles as well, especially the one above the engine shed? I mean, I keep looking at it in this sort of camera angle, and I'm really liking it. Gives you a lot more sort of scope to see what's available. Oh dear, look at that. Naughty, naughty. I'll say farewell. Thank you for joining us, Hot Dog Pilot Andy. And get this in the station. I say to get this in the station, it's literally a case of you have to pretty much line the buffers up with that signal, which not quite done there. Actually, I could go a little bit further. Not much, but there we go. We'll have to have a chat about your signalling. Well, my lack of concentration on the signalling, or no. I've already mentioned that you've given me some feedback with regards to the signalling, Jonathan. So yeah, I'll appreciate that. Next session, 2 weeks' time, as it's been rightly pointed out. That will put us on the 2nd. So the 2nd of July will be the next live stream, guys. Do tune in. Hope to see you all there. Thank you so much for listening to me waffle on about 37s this evening. I hope it has been useful to you in the decisions of your next purchase, which I hope will be lots of Acura scale 37s. That'd be pretty cool. You know, I don't know if there's a way of noting it when you place your order, but if you can put a little comment in there saying something, you know, as recommended by John JMC, Maybe I might get some feedback about that and hopefully get one of my own eventually. But anyway, right, so we'll give this a quick thunder out of the station. Quick pickup there. Mr. New Junction observing the train as it departs. There we go, watch that snake across the track. Oh, really have got to sort out that camera, so I do apologise in advance. But anyway, Jonathan Ward, good night, mate. Thank you very much for coming today. Really, really, really did enjoy your company today. Hope you will come back again soon and we can have more fun with the layout. So yeah, maybe do a bit of a works day on the layout, something like that. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, so there she goes, the traditional blue Pullman run out. Get over the top of the camera set there, look at that. Do you know what, as daft as it sounds, that silly little bracket, I will post a picture of that silly little bracket and you will all laugh at it because it is nothing fancy by any stretch of the imagination. But it seems to work really nicely. So anyway, that puts us at the end of the stream. Again, the 2nd of July, that will be the next stream. So thank you ever so much for watching. Normal service will resume there, where we'll have lots of steam engines out as well. And we'll get a bit more into the MPD area. And now we can see a lot better. And we'll have a lot more fun there. But until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. Do hit the like button on the way out. It's really, really goes a long way. Thank you so much to New Junction for the loan of the 37s. Really do appreciate that, and I have really enjoyed spending some decent time with them, I think is probably the best way to explain it. Do watch out for my Showdown 37 Showdown video. I'll hopefully start getting that edited up. Now, can I just stress, you know, usually I do things live and all this sort of stuff, so editing wise I'm not very good at it, so you know, it might be a little bit clunky in places. I will try my best to Blue Pullman's on the way back. Quickly change the signals. But anyway, take care, guys. Thank you so much for watching again, guys and girls. Sorry. But anyway, really do appreciate you guys spending the time with me this evening and listening to me waffle on about 37s. And my recommendation to anyone is just go and buy the Acura Scale 37. It is wonderful for what you get out of the box. It really is the best class 37